Please welcome to the stage Brad Shaw from Live Pro to take us through knowledge management.
Thank you, James.
You might want this as well.
Just testing down the people in the nosebleed section. Can you hear? Hey, actually, I was sitting right down the back. It's not the nosebleed section, it's the Arctic section. It's so cold. And congratulations to Daniel, the comedian. I used to be the comedian. Now I'm just the old guy with the pink jacket that you have to remember. You're nearly at the end. Congratulations. Believe it or not, 119 slides you've seen. And there's only 6 worth even looking at. And they're about to come up. It's not true that I was a teenager before we started all this. Last year was the first year that the Smaart recruitment group included knowledge management in their survey. The results were so varied that they had to split it up into 2 groups. The results were split into 2 groups. Groups that said that they used document management systems or knowledge management systems that weren't designed specifically for customer experience. And then those who were. And they split the results into, were you using a purpose-built knowledge management system, or were you using a knowledge management system that was just built for any day-to-day use? You all know why it's important to have a purpose-built knowledge management system, because customers want answers, not information. So if you've got a knowledge management system that's just giving you a PDF or a Word document, it's not suitable for a contact centre. So customers want answers, not information, and I'm going backwards. And they want that information fast, they want it accurate, and they want the agent to be confident. They want the agent to be able to tell you the answer and feel like they know what they're talking about. So you need a knowledge management system that the agent actually believes. Not a SharePoint one where they've actually typed something in, they're thinking, is this the right document? And they get it and they read it. But with AI and the advances over the last 12 months, the control of the knowledge is becoming extremely important. So the main thing is they want the answer fast, but they also want it through whatever channel they want to ask the question. So a purpose-built customer experience knowledge management system has to deliver the answer through whatever channel the customer wants to ask the question. You won't be surprised, but when they were asked this year, were they happy with their knowledge management system? It was the same as last year. The ones that were using a purpose-built knowledge management system were either very satisfied or satisfied, 100% of the respondents. And the ones that weren't, well, it wasn't built for them, so why would they be happy? But that's the only place that the divergence happened this year. All of the other questions that we asked all merged now. The answers merged. So when the senior leaders were asked how important is knowledge management, they basically said very important, which I've got to say, there was a question about global, how do we rate? Australia recognises knowledge management as important in their customer service more than the other parts of the world that LivePro deliver knowledge. In other parts of the world, SharePoint is innovative. But one of the really exciting things, one of the things that I think that we should all be proud of here is that we definitely lead the world in the question of, has it become more important in the last 12 months? And 70%, almost 70%, and almost 60% said yes, it had. We weren't anticipating that sort of result, so we didn't ask why. But what I think we'll find in the next few questions is some hints as to why the senior leaders said, you know what, this knowledge management thing's becoming more important. And for those people who are in here that are knowledge managers, don't change over to workforce management. Ask James, they're getting paid more money these days. So just keep concentrating on your trade. So the senior leaders are actually getting it. They're understanding that, you know what, you're only here for one reason, and that's to answer the customer's questions. So we better give you the tool that actually enables you to do that. So the question we asked last year was, what are you integrating your knowledge management system with? Remember I said a smart customer experience knowledge management system will deliver the answer to the channel that the customer wants to ask the question. And so there's a big emergence of organisations that are now delivering their knowledge through a number of different channels. It's not just going to their agent. The telephony system, a number of telephony systems have their own knowledge management system. So do a number of CRMs. But generally, that's the only place they stay. Generally, they're not able to deliver the knowledge to all the other places your customers want to ask the questions. Let's face it, you've only got one set of products. You've only got one set of procedures. You've only got one lot of company information. So why have a knowledge base in your chatbot, in your contact centre, and then why on your website would you have frequently asked questions that don't even relate? I mean, put up your hand if anybody in here has had anything to say about what the frequently asked questions should be on your website. Is there anybody here that's been asked what questions? Don't be shy, I'm happy for us to have lots. But isn't it funny? You guys are the ones that know what questions the customer's asking, but nobody's asking you what questions to put on the website. Even on here, it actually says 22% of organisations are delivering their knowledge via their knowledge management system to their website. Put up your hand if your organisation delivers their knowledge from the knowledge management system that you're using directly to your website. 1, 2. 2. Why? I mean, you are here to answer the customer's questions. Why are we having 3 or 4 knowledge bases to do it? Why would we have a knowledge base for a chatbot? Why would we have a knowledge base for a website? It doesn't make sense, and that's why the purpose-built knowledge management systems are important, but most importantly, that's why the senior leaders are seeing knowledge management as important. AI. You thought you were going to get through a session without anybody mentioning AI, didn't you? No way. So we asked the senior leaders, what AI feature are they most interested in incorporating into their KMS? On the left-hand side, and I apologise, by the way, to the people at the back, because I've been at the back, you can hardly read the slides. I'm sure these screens were actually made for a Taylor Swift concert where you can see Taylor Swift up there rather than any statistics. But the left-hand side is all about improving the search. And the reason why the senior leaders want to improve the search is because they understand if you're going to use AI in the future, you really need to have an advanced search. And there's a lot of things happening in AI, and there's a lot of people talking about AI in the room. And I really loved, I think it was Customer Driven, who said, you know, if you use Google Maps, you use AI. I mean, one day we're going to stop saying, are you using AI in the contact centre? We all already are. We just don't know. But the big thing about AI in the last 12 months has been ChatGPT or the generative AI systems. And they are going to be really helpful in the contact centre. We're actually doing a lot of work with them. We've worked with LivePro is integrated to Microsoft Dynamics. And Microsoft went to Prada and they wanted to pilot their new product called Copilot, where they need a knowledge base and they need it attached to their CRM. And Prada uses LivePro throughout the world. And when Microsoft said, we want to pilot it with you, they said, that's okay, but we're not doing it with SharePoint. We're going to do it with LivePro. So we got integrated into there. And so what happens now with AI is an email will come through. It recognises the email address. It goes to your CRM to see what products you're referring to. And then it goes to LivePro to understand the product and the issue. And then it develops an email in response to that inquiry. Prada's smart enough not to allow that to go directly to a client without actually a human reading it and making sure it's okay. And generative AI is being used for agent assist, but remember, agent assist is not agent replace. And there's a lot of training we have to do to be able to get that going further. ChatGPT will have a big impact on chatbots. And the generative AI is going to revolutionise a lot of things. We're doing a lot of training with it at the moment, but you cannot let it loose. The reason why the senior leaders know that knowledge management is important is that if you're going to get a ChatGPT, or by the way, there's about 18 different ones now, not just ChatGPT, if you're going to get them to answer a question, you need to have total control over where it's going to get the information. You can't crowdsource information about your products and get answers. So you can lock it in now. You lock it into this one knowledge base and say, only get the answers from this knowledge base to the questions. And that's having a lot better control over what the answers are going to be. So let's have I'm greedy. Everybody else has 3 key findings. I needed to have 4. So the first one is the simple one, and that is that contact centres are still frustrated by having to use non-purpose-built CX knowledge management systems, but the senior leaders are now hyper-aware of the critical nature, so that now they're not rushing a phone call via the IVR through their fancy telephony system to somebody who doesn't have the answer to the question. They actually understand that they've got to give you the tool to be able to answer the questions. The multi-channel delivery of knowledge is becoming more common, and you will see that trend over the next 3 to 4 years. It's not logical for the website. There's nobody in this room, even though we're in the contact centre world, there's nobody in this room that would prefer to ring a contact centre rather than to find the answer ourselves on a website. We're all from the contact centre world, but we still would prefer to go to a website to get the answer. Sooner or later, over the next 3 to 4 years, organisations are going to realise that, and the senior leaders have realised it, but most of the time the websites are owned by marketing, so we just need to take that over. Any marketing people in the room? Sorry. And the final one is generative AI elements, #1 priority for senior leaders. It does have a place, but it's not going to replace. James, I'm dying to find out what question Luke Jamison's asked.
All right, well, he's not at the top, but he's always got one. Oh, is he at the top? No. I thought there was one there, okay. He'll put one in.
Luke.
I think he's already wrapped up the prize anyway, so he's probably just kicking back and relaxing. But there's plenty here for you. What are some of the key points about knowledge management to have your executives understand the impact and importance of knowledge management and invest in it?
I had one customer who really had executive endorsement of their knowledge management system. And I said, how did you do it? They said, Brad, I was in an executive meeting and they were saying, how hard is it? You pick up the phone, you answer the question. And so she said, I took them down, I got them to double jack and listen. But before I did that, I asked them one simple question about our product, and they couldn't answer it. And she said, Brad, I just looked at them all and said, you guys are on 10 times more money than the people that are answering those questions, and you're not giving them the tools to answer a question you can't even answer. I loved it.
Next question, how do I get my 5,000 knowledge articles across from SharePoint to a knowledge management system?
That was one of my staff who wrote that. Yes, thank you, Chris, and no, you're not getting a pay rise. I said we've done a lot with ChatGPT and generative AI. We've actually trained it to take those ugly Word documents that the SMEs typed out and sent to you guys, expecting you to be able to answer questions to the customers, and trained it to be able to turn it into answers. So we've done it for you.
In a contact centre, a telephony system is a must-have. Why isn't knowledge management perceived as a must-have? That's probably a straightforward.
That's a statement and a good question.
Hit that one for 6.
I don't get it, but yeah.
Knowledge management has been mentioned a few times today from various presenters. Does that mean that SharePoint will no longer cut it as a knowledge management solution?
First of all, SharePoint's not a knowledge management solution. It's a document storage system. We use SharePoint in LivePro because we need to store documents. But knowledge management is about managing it. And managing it means, are you certain that it's the most up-to-date, most approved, nobody's actually made any amendments to it? Is it due for review this month? There's so much more to it. So SharePoint's still got a place, but not for the contact centres.
We'll finish with this one. What do you consider the most important information to make available in the knowledge management system currently?
You guys will be able to tell us that. The first thing we do when we go to install LivePro is we have this thing called Name Me and Feed Me. The Name Me, we just allow the customers to actually name their own product. Everybody gives it this innovative name. But we want the agents to tell us what do they want in the knowledge base. So the best people to find out what needs to go in there are the people that are answering questions every single day. So that's my answer.
Great. And Brad, you've got a whole team of your staff here to chat to anybody over drinks if they want to learn more about knowledge management.
They are, and so's the old guy with the pink jacket.
Thank you.
Guys.